Everyone is speaking out about this. A recent report was dropped stating that Jamal Murray had been on the potential trading block for the Denver Nuggets last offseason. This offseason, it seems that Michael Porter Jr. is the most likely candidate to be leaving from the starting five in a potential trade. Amy Sutherland here for Nuggets Digest. Before we jump into talking about this potential past trade and a potential future trade, please hit the subscribe button. Only about 8% of you are watching these videos while being subscribed. Hit the subscribe button. It's free. Join our Nuggets Digest community. This report was dropped by Mark Deeks. He said that last offseason, Calvin Booth, who is the former GM of the Denver Nuggets, had explored deals involving Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray had come to a point in his career when he was going to be offered an extension with the Denver Nuggets, or he was going to be moved on and go to another NBA team. The Denver Nuggets, after much deliberation, decided to sign Jamal Murray to an extension. I'm not a GM and I will never be a GM. As I've come to be a bigger fan of the NBA, I've come to understand a little bit more about GMs. Obviously, I'll never understand totally because I'm sure there's things that happen behind closed doors and things that I can't understand. But there is a big difference between a GM receiving phone calls about a player. Everybody wants to come after the good players. Everybody does. If I was a GM, I'd be calling about Nikola Jokić all the time. Probably not, but in my brain I would if I was a GM of another team. And there's a difference between receiving calls and sending and giving calls out, calling other teams. Because that means that you are thinking that you might want to trade this player. Not just that other teams are wanting this player. So, Calvin Booth, in this report, it was stated that Calvin Booth had been calling other teams, proposing potential trades to other teams about getting Jamal Murray off of the Denver Nuggets. This extension was a little bit dramatic. There were parameters set, there were guidelines set in what Jamal Murray had to do to keep his max extension, which, by the way, is a 4-year extension. He's making $60 million a year. He's one of the top paid players on the Denver Nuggets. This extension was eventually signed. I'm unaware of if no other teams wanted Jamal Murray. None of the other trades seemed good enough to get Jamal Murray. The Denver Nuggets ended up signing him to his 4-year contract with the Denver Nuggets. Because he was signed to such a high deal, he is not a likely trade candidate. No other team is going to want to take somebody on like Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is an interesting player to watch. I'm a Kentucky basketball fan and I loved him in college. The blue era was iconic. I was stoked to see him come to the Denver Nuggets. That all being said, I do believe he's a talented player. But he would not be the same player if he did not have Nikola Jokić. Nikola Jokić has made Jamal Murray into the player he is, into the player that has been as successful as he has been. They are the peanut butter jelly. They are an elite duo. When the Denver Nuggets won the championship, it was, in my opinion, most due to them being really good at running the pick and roll and being able to read what the defense was giving them and being able to execute together in a 2-man game. So, if I'm a different NBA team, I have no idea what Jamal Murray will be like without Nikola Jokić, especially now that he's signed to such a high deal. Any team that would take his contract would have to pay him that same amount. He's not a likely trade candidate. The Denver Nuggets most likely are not going to be able to trade Jamal Murray due to this extension that he was signed to. I'm happy to hear this news that Calvin Booth had been potentially trying to find a trade for Jamal Murray just because of his injuries. Jamal Murray, his whole career in the NBA, his injuries have plagued him, have plagued the team because of his lack of being able to show up and lack of being able to play when the team most needs him. So I'm happy to know that Calvin Booth had been looking at ways to trade him before signing him to this max extension. It's good to recognize that Calvin Booth, although he was recently fired, was trying his best to facilitate a winning environment for the Denver Nuggets. It does pay to keep the championship core together. I'm talking Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, obviously world's best player, Nikola Jokić. It pays to keep them together. And that was, I'm assuming, the goal that Calvin Booth had in mind was, if nobody was going to give the Denver Nuggets back quality for Jamal Murray, keeping the championship core intact was valuable. That being said, because of the extension that Jamal Murray signed, because of who Nikola Jokić is as the world's best player, because of Aaron Gordon, Mr. Nugget, a player that is legendary in Nuggets history. He hit 3 game winners in these last playoffs. These 3 players are not going to get traded. Jamal Murray, I know a lot of us wish he could get traded because of his injuries, because of his confusion, because of his lack of conditioning. He's not going to get traded because of this extension that Calvin Booth signed him to. Michael Porter Jr. is the most likely player that will be traded from the Denver Nuggets because he is at a point where he has not recently signed an extension. He has signed an extension and is getting paid, in my opinion, too much for the type of player that he is. But his extension is not as much as Jamal Murray, and he has in my opinion, higher ceiling to help a different team. Michael Porter Jr. is a catch and shoot 3-pointer player. He can be put onto any team and be successful in that role. Jamal Murray, as a point guard, needs a running mate. He needs somebody right next to him, helping him be the player that he can be. Jamal Murray versus Michael Porter Jr. on the trading block, I'm letting go Michael Porter Jr. I think Jamal Murray, as a Denver Nugget, has proved in the bubble, in the championship run, that he can truly add value if he comes ready to play, if he comes in shape, if he is injury free. Jamal Murray is a great player, and I'm grateful that he's still part of the Denver Nuggets. He, as a scorer and as a finisher, is insanely good. His touch around the rim amazes me. Some of the circus shots that he makes, I never believe they're going in, and they go in somehow, and I want to cry tears of joy because they're so beautiful. And Michael Porter Jr., while he can get hot, has shown in the past 2 playoff runs that his value on the Denver Nuggets is decreasing. Our team's going to want Michael Porter Jr. I keep coming to this conclusion. I'm not sure. I really hope they do. And I hope that we can get value back for Michael Porter Jr. This report is interesting just to know that before the Denver Nuggets signed Jamal Murray to his extension, he had been on the potential trading block. Jamal Murray is a player that Nuggets love, and it's important just to note that although there is some hate going around on Jamal, the former GM Calvin Booth did his best to see what we could get back in return for Jamal Murray. Michael Porter Jr., he might be heading out this offseason. He might be the beginning of breaking up the Nuggets championship core. Hit the subscribe button. Keep up to date with Nuggets Digest. We're going to be jumping on all of the trade rumors, all of the news that we hear. So hit the subscribe button. And until next time, go Nuggets.